Proclamation. Now let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. It is good to be together. This morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. If you're online and have a chalice or a candle, please join me as we light our candles together with the words of Claudine Oliva. We light this challenge for mothers and mothering, to celebrate those who have taken on the task of nurturing a young one, baby, child, or youth into adulthood, to celebrate those who have nourished the light of truth and compassion in growing minds and hearts, to celebrate those who have committed time, money, energy to the growth of others in this world. We light this chalice to celebrate and hold dear this flame of love.
Let's sing together again. Oh, sorry, opening words. Let's not sing together again.
I know you're anxious for the opening song, Troy. And good morning to you all. I'm Reverend Mary, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm a white older woman with brown and silver hair wearing glasses. And today I have on a black dress, and the rainbow stole I'm wearing was a gift from my family when I was ordained. Our opening words are offered by Mary J. Harrington. We come together today in praise and thanksgiving for the gift of life itself. Someone gave birth to us, and some of us have given birth. All of us have been mothered in our time, and all of us have mothered. Let our time today be one of recognition that we arrive from so many places, joy and delight, wistfulness and longing and worry, unmet needs and unfulfilled dreams, loss and sorrow, loss and emptiness, loss and regret. All that life is made of, mothers are made of too. Today we sing the song of so many, mothers who are single parents, foster parents, mothers who relinquish their young out of necessity, mothers who found their heart in adoption, mothers who left their children in 1,000 ways, mothers who rejoice, and mothers who mourn. We sing the songs of the grandmother, the auntie, the classroom teacher, the Sunday school teacher, the babysitter, the neighbor with endless cookies and time. There is a kind of love we cannot live without. It is never too late, no matter what age or situation. We sing a song of gratitude for all the moments of being known, being cherished, being found. Come, let us worship together. And now we'll sing.
Out of the Teal Hymn Book, hymn number 1051, Isay Barnwell's wonderful song, We Are. I invite you to rise in body and or spirit. Let's sing together. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. Mothers of courage and fathers of time, we are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe. One more time. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe. Who we are. Thank you.
I invite you to settle into a position that supports your ability to be here now as we engage in a ritual to honor this Mother's Day. This Mother's Day ritual is from Linda Hart, and it is entitled, "Those Who Gave Us Life." From where we have come, this breath, these fingers, a heart that opens and closes, opens and closes. What is it that has made this body, feet and legs, hair and teeth? We come into consciousness in the middle of the story. The world in its vast life reaches far before we knew and grasps at the future we cannot see. And here we are, living these days, for better or for worse. Whatever acts of chance occurred to bring us to birth, whatever happenstance laid this particular path for our lives, in these moments of calm and stillness and ringing phones, let our hearts open in gratitude for the gift that can be found along the way, no matter what is placed in the path before us. Gratitude for love given sweet and free, for the peace of the morning and the warm colors of the sunset, for the grace of companions and moments of ongoing birth as our hearts are renewed, and for those who have offered us the gift of mothering, no matter their age or gender, those who have tended and care, those who have offered support and comfort, who have stood by and stood with us, those who have given us life by birth or by their presence in our lives. Recognize that grief often comes with such memories. Let us open our hearts in compassion for our broken hearts, for lost mothers, mothers who could not love us as we needed, mothers who abandoned us, and especially for those whose longing for children was never met. In the stillness of these moments, I invite you to speak aloud or speak in your heart the names of those who have given you life. Catherine, Bernice, we honor all those who have companioned us, who are held in our hearts this day. We honor all that has been and the possibility of all that may be. May hearts be open to the love that is offered. May hearts be healed by the love that is present. May we bring that love into a time of silence together.
Each Sunday, we engage in the spiritual practices of generosity and gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. We know that our financial contributions come from sacrifice and hard work. With gratitude, we commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. If you are new or visiting us for the first time, you are our guest, and we do not expect you to contribute. However, if you are moved to be part of our offering, what you share will be most gratefully received. The offering collected here does two things. It helps support the ongoing work of this congregation, which is also supported by your regular pledges. This offering also supports an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. Our Share the Plate organization for May and June is Crisis Clinic of Thurston and Mason counties, providing 24/7 continuous support For the last 50 years, the Crisis Clinic of Thurston Mason counties is committed to building a community that is better prepared to understand and respond compassionately to people in crisis. In 2022, the clinic answered over 10,000 phone calls from people in crisis. Their presentations reach up to 2,000 students each year, with the intention to exceed that number in 2024. Your help will support the primary crisis intervention services, the Teen Youth Helpline, and presentations to middle and high schools throughout Thurston and Mason counties in suicide awareness and prevention. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
Thank you for your generous gifts and all the ways that you share them. We gathered in community this morning, bringing all that is in our lives. Let's open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. We'll hear a drumbeat as we share today. It brings into our awareness that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of this community. So right now, let's just take a deep breath together, in and out, as we open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives and communities today. For those online, I invite you to enter in the chat, sharing from your heart there. We in the sanctuary can see your sharing on the screen. And for those on site today, I invite you to come forward if there's something you'd like to bring into the community. You may place a stone in the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. It works best if you come up by the side aisle and return by the center aisle. So let's hear the heartbeat of our community as we reach out our hearts in love and care to all who share today. We'll place a stone in the water for all that has been shared online, shared from the heart. And one more stone placed in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. And once again, I invite you to settle in wherever you are. And just take a breath. Listen to what is around you. Listen to what is within you. In the stillness of this moment, Let's be in silence together.
Today's first reading is For All the Mothers by Reverend Linda Susan Ulrich. For all the mothers and mother figures, the grandmothers, aunts, extended family members who mother, the soon-to-be mothers, the wish they were mothers, the never wanted to be mothers, the it's complicated mothers, the birth mothers, foster mothers, adoptive mothers, stepmothers, the used-to-be dad mothers, and more than one mom mothers. The single mothers, separated mothers, stay-at-home mothers, unhoused mothers, the grieving mothers, those who grieve their mothers, and those whose grief is complex. For all the communities that mother, and for all who depend on the Great Mother, you are all held and beloved.
So today is Mother's Day, and it's a day with a long and complex history. The clearest modern example of Mother's Day, a Mother's Day celebration, is Mothering Sunday, which was an early Christian festival in the United Kingdom and much of Europe. It was once a tradition to return to the mother church, that is, the nearest church to your home, on the fourth Sunday of Lent for a special worship service. But over time, that tradition blended into the more secular Mother's Day celebration that originated in the United States. In 1858, Anne Reeves Jarvis of West Virginia organized Mother's Day work clubs to help women improve the care for themselves and their children. Anne Reeves Jarvis gave birth to 13 children, but only 4 lived to adulthood, which was not unusual at that time. In 1868, after the Civil War, Anne Reeves Jarvis organized a Mother's Friendship Day in West Virginia to reconcile the Union and Confederate soldiers who were often of the same family. It was reported that the day began in tension and ended with soldiers shaking hands with and hugging others, sometimes relatives, that they had not connected with in all the years of the war. Anne Reeves Jarvis died in 1905 on the second Sunday in May. 2 years later, in 1907, her daughter, Anna Jarvis, held a small memorial to honor her mother at the Episcopal Church in Grafton, West Virginia. For the next year, Anna solicited funds from department store owner John Wanamaker in Philadelphia for the first formal Mother's Day celebration in Grafton, West Virginia. And on that same day, Wanamaker also held a celebration at one of his retail stores in Philadelphia, where thousands of people attended. Anna Jarvis organized a massive letter-writing campaign to have Mother's Day declared a national holiday, arguing that holidays were heavily weighted toward the achievements of men. In 1910, the governor of West Virginia made Mother's Day a state holiday on the second Sunday in May. And in 1914, President Woodrow Wilson declared it a national holiday. By 1915, however, Anna Jarvis became disillusioned by what she saw as the commercialization of Mother's Day. Her vision was of a day for families to privately and reverently honor all that a mother does. She also decried that some groups were using the day for political purposes. So for the rest of her life, Anna Jarvis used the legal system and social pressure to fight against what she saw as the corruption of a day she created in honor of her mother and all mothers. By the 1940s, she had disowned the holiday altogether and was working to have it repealed. She died penniless in a sanatorium in 1948. But the creation of Mother's Day was not just the other efforts of Anna Jarvis. After the Civil War in 1870, reformer writer and suffragist Julia Ward Howe suggested a Mother's Peace Day to combat what she called the preventable evils of war. She and so many women were appalled by the carnage of the Civil War and all war, and they wanted to gain power in order to change society. Howe's first Mother's Day celebration was in June of 1873, and she organized actions to eradicate war for years in the Boston area, in addition to her efforts to bring the vote to women. So today we are encouraged to celebrate Mother's Day with flowers, cards, gifts, and meals, and the commercialization continues. Not that mothers don't deserve gifts and recognition, please don't hear that. Yet the origins of this holiday invite us to ponder the justice issues of this day. Anne Reeves Jarvis worked for peace in the home and in her community. She sought to alleviate the grief and toll on mothers who bore and lost too many children. Julia Ward Howe brought a message of collective power and peace from mothers who had lost their sons, husbands, brothers, fathers to war. Mother's Day has also been used to launch other justice efforts. On Mother's Day in 1968, Coretta Scott King hosted a march in support of underprivileged women and children. In the 1970s, women's equality groups used the holiday to highlight the need for equal rights and access to childcare. Today, there are efforts like the Mama's Bailout, a Black-led collective of organizers committed to abolishing pretrial detention and the prison industrial complex. Nearly 80% of women in jail are mothers, and most are in for minor offenses. Mama's Bailout collects funds to pay bail for mothers while they await their trials. A few Sundays ago, on April 21st, I shared that it was Non-Binary Parents' Day, created a decade ago to acknowledge that Mother's Day and Father's Day may not fit for every parent. It's another way to engage in the justice questions raised by this holiday. So while I appreciate Anna Jarvis's desire for a more private celebration of motherhood, I think that a holiday dedicated to the concept of motherhood is destined to be political. In a society of white supremacy culture, how could it not be? Supremacy culture says that there is only one way, and it supports patriarchy and oppressions of all kind. In a culture of white supremacy and patriarchy, the worship of motherhood is used to say that there is only one way to mother, and that motherhood is the only role for women. Supremacy denies diversity and pluralism. Diversity is the existence of differences. Pluralism, our spiritual theme for this month, takes diversity a step further to encourage us to embrace the differences and to engage across those differences. So it is both a theological and a political statement to embrace the differences and acknowledge all mothers and all the ways of mothering today. From our reading, all the mothers and mother figures, the grandmothers, aunts, and extended family members who mother, the soon-to-be mothers, the wish they were mothers, the never wanted to be mothers, the it's complicated mothers, the birth mothers, foster mothers, adoptive mothers, stepmothers, the used-to-be dad mothers, and more than one mom mothers, the single mothers, separated mothers, stay-at-home mothers, unhoused mothers, the grieving mothers, those who grieve mothers, and those whose grief is complex. I'm certain that we could add even more diversity to that list of mothers. The incarcerated mothers, the unemployed mothers, the ill mothers, the working mothers, the ran for president or senator or governor mothers, and the mother who is vice president. As we mark this day, let's acknowledge that motherhood is more than private or simple. Let's honor all the mothers.
Our second reading is from Barbara Gibson's Psalm 29. The earth speaks in the storm. The voice of the earth is heard on the waters. In her glory, she thunders once over mighty seas. The voice of earth makes a powerful roar. The strength of earth breaks tall cedars. Lightning cracks hemlocks in the deep forest. The power of the earth flashes forth in a storm. Earth shakes the houses and towns. Storms make the strong oaks whirl and strips the redwood forests bare. Earth flows and rages in great floods. All in the temple of earth cry, Mother.
Long before Mothering Sunday or Mother's Peace Day or even Mother's Day, there were holidays to honor the Mother Goddess. Rhea, Cybele, Isis, Kali, Leto, Shakti, Durga, Demeter, Persephone, Gaia. She has many names. Sometimes the Mother Goddess is worshipped throughout the year and sometimes annually. Sometimes different aspects of the Mother Goddess are honored at certain times of the year. Isis is honored at the spring equinox as life returns, and at the autumnal equinox as life is harvested and the earth begins to rest. These festivals are to honor our connection to Mother Earth, this earth that gives us life, this earth that gives us all that we need. All in the temple of the earth cry, Mother. This Mother's Day, Mother Earth is telling us that all is not well. Her voice is speaking in the powerful roar with storms, shaking, and floods. She is crying for our attention. Floods in Brazil, Afghanistan, and Houston, Texas. Record heat throughout Asia. In the US, we've experienced the second highest number of tornadoes in any April on record. It's over 80 degrees in Olympia in early May. Last Friday, scientists at Hawaii's Mauna Loa Observatory reported that we are on track for another record year of carbon dioxide emissions, and atmospheric levels are rising faster than we knew. Scientists say that we are in a modern, man-made sixth extinction. Elephants, right whales, sea turtles, leopards, tigers, rhinos, vaquita porpoises, mountain gorillas, all are endangered. Polar bears, bees, snails, skinks, sturgeon, all feeling the impact of human exploitation of Mother Earth. Human impact on the climate is changing everything, and it's not for the better. So I wonder what it might look like if we were to honor Mother Earth this day, to pause and recognize what we take for granted, to honor the connection to all that gives us life. And just like with Mother's Day, there is commercialization of Earth Day and environmental efforts, things that make us feel better, but do very little to repair the damage. Things like carbon offsets or carbon capturing or even some plastic recycling. These past 2 months, OUUC's Social Justice Book Group has read and discussed a book called Not Too Late, a collection of essays from people working on climate justice, edited by Rebecca Solnit and Thelma Young Lutunatabwa. The complete title of this book is Not Too Late, Changing the Climate Story from Despair to Possibility. I so appreciate the depth of conversation and engagement of the members of this social justice book group. This last Thursday when we met, we noted that the spiritual basis for the climate story told in this collection of essays, the spiritual basis for climate work is love. Love for Earth, love for humanity, love for all life, and love for life itself. And we learned once again that the most practical, effective action that we can take is to join together to work for systemic change that will truly alter the course that we are on. Book group participants noted that we can all take individual actions to help combat climate change, but most of those are after the fact actions, like recycling. If we banded together, it would be possible to move the responsibility for packaging to the manufacturers instead of to the consumers. If we banded together, it would be possible to expand alternative ways of generating electricity and electrifying more of our grid. If we banded together, we could create transportation systems that serve everyone and effectively get us where we need to be. If we work together, we could help ensure a better, sustainable future for our children and grandchildren and the generations to come. Only by organizing a movement can we make meaningful and effective change. So while it might seem like Mother's Day is a private celebration, it is most meaningful if it is done with justice in mind. And while it might seem like climate justice is an individual action, it is most effective when we work together. So this Mother's Day, I hope you will mark the day in some way that is meaningful for you and that serves a larger purpose. You may find a way to honor all the mothers in your life. You may find a way to celebrate the diversity of motherhood. You may find a way to connect to Mother Earth. Whatever you choose, may your Mother's Day be filled with connection and joy. Happy Mother's Day.
Let's sing together out of the Teal hymn book, hymn number 1026, If Every Woman in the World. invite you to rise in body and or spirit. If every woman in the world had her mind set on freedom, if every woman in the world dreamed a sweet dream of peace, if every woman of every nation, young and old, each generation, held her hand out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every man in the world had his mind set on freedom, if every brother stood with brother as a witness of peace, if every man of every nation, young and old, each generation, held his hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every leader in the world shared a vision of freedom, if every leader in the world shared a sweet dream of peace, if every leader of every nation yearned for justice and liberation, holding hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every nation in the world set a true course for freedom, if every nation raised its children in a culture of peace, if all our sons and all our daughters reached in friendship to cross the waters, refusing to be enemies, there would be no more war.
We extinguish our chalice with the words of the Reverend Victoria Weinstein. Dear God, Mother, Father of us all, grant us life-giving ways, strength for birthing, and a nurturing spirit that we may take attentive care of our world, our communities, and those precious beings entrusted to us by biology or destiny or by friendship, fellowship, or fate. Give us the heart of a mother. Amen. May you go in peace, go in joy, go with love.